Welcome back. Today we're going to do a really quick talk on Moondrop Variations. So we're going to talk about this one for a few reasons. Most important, the selfish reasons I wanted to hear Variations. I never bought it. I never heard it previously when it was actually super popular. Two, Apos Audio decided to loan it to me, so that is another great reason why we're going to talk about it. And three, it is the holiday season. There's a ton of sales. People are spending money on lots of sets, which are probably not nearly as good as Variations. So this is probably a good reminder or a time to remind people that there are some older sets which are spectacular and legendary, and Variations is one of them. And we'll start there. I mean, there's no real need to deep dive into this one. It's been reviewed a million times. It's all true. It's a legendary, great set. I don't know, and I will say that after listening to more than a few Moondrops in 2023, it's still shocking how good this set is compared to some of the sets that they've released lately. And I understand that they're hitting budget points and releasing sets, sequels to sets, and they're doing some odd things with tunings. But yeah, when you listen to this one, it's sort of unlike most of the others. Probably Lan, I think, is the only one that would probably come close to not sounding like Variations, but as far as a sound quality and a tuning that were right on for the price, I think Lan hit it, but Variations is way, way up there. I mean, it's shockingly good. So is it still relevant in 2023, or why is it special? And I think plain and simple, it's the treble implementation combined with clean and clear mids is really unlike anything below the price point, which is about $442 right now during this sale period. And that's why I really wanted to hit on it. I think there's some sets I've reviewed in the mid 200s. I think Performer 8 was 380-ish. And those sets just aren't really anywhere close to this. And I understand that $100 is going to be a big difference for a lot of people. But yeah, wow, Variations is shockingly better than most of those lower mid-fi sets that people are talking about and thought were great. But yeah, no, the hybrids from a couple years ago, Variations, EJ07M, which we'll talk about in a minute. You know, when that one came out, I think it was on sale. This was all pre-COVID. I didn't pay much more than $442 for my M either. That was all pre-COVID, and they had special sales going on at the time. But yeah, these two sets are shockingly good compared to mostly everything below their price point. And that's why I still consider M a special set. Also why I would consider Variations a special set. So the mids, the treble together give you great staging. And that's what you sort of notice right away with Variations is it's super clean, it's super clear, but the staging isn't flat. It's not in your face. It's actually very immersive, kind of around your head. And the imaging is so sharp because everything is so clean. And I think that's where it edges out M is in that respect, how clean everything is and how sharp it is, how detailed, and how all those treble bits come through into its shockingly sharp detail. And M is a different set, and we'll talk about that in a second. But I guess those three things are really where I would say that Variation sets us apart from just about everything below its price point. And lots of sets have tried to reproduce those clean mids, have tried to reproduce this famous graph that's been redone a few times in lots of different price points. But none of them have really hit the right balance that you get on Variations on note weight, transparency, openness. It was actually surprising to me, and I sort of knew that there wasn't a whole lot of mid bass, but the actual balance that they hit in the mids they do not come across as lean as lots of sets who have tried to hit the same target. I think Variations really hit it, and it's sort of why I think the set went on to be a legendary set is because it didn't get as lean as it appeared on the graph. And yeah, there is something different about the weight and the transparency and the openness of the mids that are actually quite different than nearly every other set that has a very similar graph. And it's kind of hard to figure out how they did it, but I 100% understand why people really, really love Variations and never really complain too much about it. You can complain about the lack of mid bass. That's true, but as far as the mids being super lean or male vocals sounding really off, it never really had that problem. And a lot of it comes down to whatever they did to actually get that right. So versus EJ07M, and how about that mid bass, right? I think that is one of the big separation points between Variations and M. M is probably 1 dB or so too much mid bass. It's actually kind of mid bassy. This one is probably about 2 dB less on the mid bass. And so somewhere in the middle probably would have been perfect. But yes, I 100% understand everyone who bought an M and sold it for the lack of treble after listening to Variations. These are two very different sets, and I wouldn't trade my M for Variations. I would probably keep both, but very much two different sets, two different listening styles, two different listener types, I would say. Definitely more focused on mids and up. M is more of a balanced natural set. This one is definitely tilted a little bit higher. But for me, I think Variations is still a little bit intense, especially on those long sessions. And this little bit right there, that little pin gain, that's it kind of pokes you a little bit, and just the amount of treble intensity it kind of gets on you after a while. But yeah, absolutely, the mid bass level isn't for everyone on Variations, including me. But it absolutely does make a wow moment for when you pop the set in for the first time. How clear and transparent the mids are, how detailed and consistent and solid the treble is. That's what you just don't get that at sets and the price points below the set. It really both of the sets stand out at that point. There's just nothing below them that does what they do equally well. So after hearing it, do I regret not buying it or have the urge to buy this one? This is one of their loaner sets that's probably up for sale on their site for used. No, I definitely enjoy it, and I enjoyed it for a few days, but I found myself just hunting and skipping tracks, and I think it's not really a great fit for my poor taste in music is really what it comes down to, and 100% understand why people love it. For me, I am very grateful that they loaned it to me so I could hear it, but I don't have any regrets sending this one back. Absolutely stunning set for people who have it and enjoy it. I get it. For me, bad taste in music, but there you go. So if you're looking for things to purchase during the holiday seasons, do keep your eye on Variations. It's about $442 at Apos and other stores. And that's really, as I said, not all that much more than some other hybrids that came out in 2023. And none of them are really going to come close to Variations and what it can do as far as a tribrid. So do keep that in mind as you are shopping, and I will thank you for tuning in, and I will see you next time.